In this review, I break down the pros and cons of heritage steel cookware. I'll show you how it's made, how it performs, and how it stacks up against the competition. I'll also talk about some downsides you need to know before buying. So if you're looking for quality American-made cookware and you're not sure whether to buy heritage steel, All-Clad, or another brand, keep watching. Unlike many cookware brands that outsource manufacturing to China, every heritage steel pan is made in their owned and operated factory in Clarksville, Tennessee, and it's been that way since the company launched over 40 years ago. Each pan starts as a flat disc that's punched into shape by a forming press. After that, they trim the excess material around the rims. Then it goes through a series of grinding and polishing to smooth the edges and surface and create the final finish. Holes are punched for the handles, which are attached by rivets. Each piece is carefully inspected by hand, and if it's not perfect, it doesn't get sold. The point is, a lot of skill, care, and handcrafting go into making each heritage steel pan. It's not a company that mass produces thousands of pans per day, and by manufacturing in the USA in their own facilities, they have complete control over all the details and processes. Heritage Steel offers two cookware collections: the Titanium series and the Eater series, which just launched in 2023 and was designed in partnership with Eater.com, one of the largest food websites in the world. Both collections are made in the USA. Both are fully clad with an aluminum core, so they heat evenly from the middle of the cooking surface to the rim. Both have flared rims, and both are broiler and oven safe up to 800 degrees Fahrenheit. That said, there are four key differences between these collections. First, Titanium series handles are flat on top, rounded on the bottom, wide in the middle, and come to a point at the end. Eater series handles are flat on top and slightly rounded on the bottom, but are the same thickness throughout. These handles are similar to made-in handles, except they fork right before the body of the pan to disperse heat and keep the handle cool. There's a small bump underneath to warn you when your hand is getting too close to the heat. The second difference is the finish. Heritage Steel Titanium series pans have a shiny, polished exterior finish, and the Eater series pans have a brushed finish. The finish doesn't impact cooking performance, but fingerprints and smudges are less noticeable on the Eater series brushed finish. The third difference is the cooking surface. Both pans are 5-ply with the same 400 series ferromagnetic steel exterior and aluminum core, but the cooking surface of the Eater series is 304 stainless steel, which is industry standard. The cooking surface of the Titanium series is a special 316 Ti stainless steel, which is reinforced with titanium and molybdenum to make it more durable and resistant to pitting. I conducted a quick test to see if this titanium reinforced steel actually makes a difference. I poured 3 cups of water into the Heritage Steel Titanium series pan and an All-Clad pan with a 304 stainless steel cooking surface. Before turning on the heat, I added a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to each pan. Then I turned the heat to high and boiled the water for 10 minutes. Under normal circumstances, you should never add salt before boiling the water, but I actually wanted to see if I could cause pitting. Fortunately, neither pan showed any signs of pitting, but the results of this quick test don't prove that there's no benefit to the enhanced steel. In fact, it's well documented that 316 Ti steel is more resistant to pitting than 304 steel. Pitting and corrosion usually happen over a long period and from extended exposure to salt. So after years of cooking, the 316 Ti steel should provide better protection against pitting. The fourth and final difference is that the Titanium series is more expensive than the Eater series because 316 Ti steel is more costly than 304 steel, and the polished exterior requires more labor than the brushed exterior. Heritage Steel performs as you'd expect quality stainless steel cookware to perform. It heats up fast and evenly and maintains its heat when you add cold ingredients. The cooking surface is wide, the flared rims make it easy to pour liquids and slide food onto a plate, and the handles stay cool when cooking on the stove. The 12-inch frying pans in Heritage Steel's 2 collections have the same shape, thickness, weight, and conductive aluminum core, so they perform almost identically. I've used them to cook fish, vegetables, pancakes, eggs, and more. With 3mm thick walls, Heritage Steel cookware is sturdy but not too heavy. It's well-balanced cookware, light enough to shake and flip ingredients while sauteing, but heavy enough to avoid warping or denting. With these pans, you get the same reliable performance as you get with brands like All-Clad. And to prove it, I tested Heritage Steel and All-Clad's D3 collection head-to-head. I preheated both pans to the same temperature, added the same amount of oil, and then placed a few pieces of chicken in both pans. The chicken released from the surface without sticking and cooked evenly in both pans. Here's a side-by-side look at the results. The pieces on the left were cooked in the All-Clad pan, and the pieces on the right were cooked in heritage steel. Heritage steel is more expensive than brands made in China like Misen and Goldilocks, but less expensive than high-end brands made in Europe and the US like All-Clad, Heston, and De Meyer. It's priced similarly to Made In and Sardell. For example, Heritage Steel's website lists the Titanium Series 12-inch frying pan for $140 and the Eater Series 12-inch pan for $100. The All-Clad D3 12-inch pan you just saw in my test is currently listed on allclad.com for $200. The All-Clad D5 pan is $250 and the All-Clad Copper Core pan is $280. Other brands that are manufactured in the US, like 360 Cookware and Viking Professional, are also more expensive than Heritage Steel. So far, I've given Heritage Steel a lot of praise, but there are some downsides to consider. Because the handle on Titanium Series pans is rounded on the bottom, it can rotate in your hands when tilting and pouring. It's extra slippery when washing the pan, and your hands are wet and soapy. I strongly prefer the flatter design of the Eater Series handle because it's less likely to rotate, but it's still comfortable. Also, the handle is only 8 inches long and it gets thinner at the end. So to get a secure grip, you have to keep your hand in the middle of the handle, which is relatively close to the heat. Brands like Sardell and All-Clad D5 have longer handles around 9 inches. Rainbow stains, also known as heat tint, are common with all stainless steel cookware, but I've noticed them more with Heritage Steel. Fortunately, you can remove these stains with vinegar and water. The rivets they use to attach the handles are nice and secure, but they stick out on the inside of the pan further than brands like Made In and All-Clad. Since oil and stains tend to collect around the rivets, the more flush they are, the better. I talked about how Heritage Steel is an American company that manufactures every pot and pan in the USA, but it sources some of its materials globally. Like All-Clad, Heritage Steel handles are made in China and attached in the US, and the bonded sheets of steel that start the process are sourced from South Korea. So while their American heritage is the centerpiece of the brand, every part of the cookware is not entirely made in the US. Heritage Steel specializes in stainless steel cookware, and they do it well, but that's all they sell. If you want non-stick, carbon steel, cast iron, enameled cast iron, or copper cookware to complete your collection, you need to shop other brands. So is Heritage Steel cookware worth buying? Based on my testing, it's one of the best stainless steel brands on the market. This small, family-owned business manufactures each pot and pan in the USA, and the level of care and detail that goes into each piece is obvious when you look at the final product. It's one of the best values because it performs similarly to All-Clad, but it's less expensive, has a titanium strengthened cooking surface, and because of the grinding and polishing they do by hand, the edges are noticeably smoother. If you're looking for a comparable alternative, consider Made In. In fact, the Heritage Steel Eater Series and Made In look almost identical. The only real differences are Made In's walls are a touch taller, the flared rims are slightly wider, and the rivets are flatter. The materials, thickness, and the handle design are almost the same. Both are great brands if you're looking for quality stainless steel cookware at a fair price. If you're ready to buy, I'll link to Heritage Steel in the video description. Those are affiliate links, so I'll earn a commission if you click and buy, but at no extra cost to you. If this was helpful, check out this video where I break down the best stainless steel cookware brands. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.